Thank you for all the applause. Hey, welcome at another video of motocross, and in this case corner analysis. The shots I made in the end of 2024, I still had some footage left and it was mostly corners. I thought, well, let's combine all of them and make one big corner analysis video out of it. And now I would say get your muck and we're going to have a look at what I recorded. Let's go. The first corner that we're going to look at is corner 15, and I'm going to show you a video that I created somewhere halfway of the year. It's just an overview with the corner numbers. So let's have a look how that looks. Yeah, so that is corner 15. Now, what did I had in mind for corner 15? Practicing keeping both feet on the pegs in the corner. Next to this, in this corner, the outside corner gets bumpy over time. So the idea was here to cut the last end of the corner. My friend Chef was talking about that. I will show that in a moment as well. To do that so that you can get away from, let's say, the bumps on the outside going out of the corner. Now, in general, always we like to maximize speed. I do not know how to explain if we did that correctly or not, but you can decide from the videos if that is the case. Let's explain a little bit about that cutting of the last corner. So this is the first time that I took the corner, and I am at arrow with red here in the video, and my friend is the arrow green, and he's giving an example or how to make the corner short. It's going in half speed, so I think we can follow this very clearly. Have a look. It's going inside, as you can see, and I'm going completely to the outside. And this is pretty early in the day, so the bumps are not that big yet, because you see I'm still sitting down, but over the day the bumps, they get bigger. And then really at the spot where I'm sort of here in front of the camera, that is where you really need to stand up, else you will be thrown off your bike almost, because the bumps get that big over there. Now let's have a look how I did. Okay, so keeping the feet on, yeah, still not always. It's especially when there are riders around. At least that is what I feel or see in the video. Still putting my leg out. Sometimes also for balance, I put my leg out. Did I went inside in each corner? I would say half half. So I was not always on the outside, luckily. At least that is what I could see. But also it was a little bit half half. So in the middle, sometimes a little bit more to the left. And also a little bit with the camera angle, you cannot really see how far to the left I come. But no, I'm pretty happy with this result. Okay, let's look at a different corner. That is corner 17. Let's first have a look how corner 17 looks like when you're driving it yourself. What you saw now, that is, let's say, the outside corner. But this corner you can do inside and outside. So again, same goal, trying to keep both feet on the pegs, because that was the goal for last year mainly. And what I wanted to try is to vary a little bit the outside with the inside corner. And in overall, we want to get as much speed as possible. So also in the next footage, I timed how long each corner took. And let's say from a fixed point in the video to the exit in the video. Let's have a look how that looks like. So the camera is positioned from the side. Yeah, so you see me coming up, let's say the first bump, and then there is inside and outside visualized. Now, let's have a look. Okay, yeah. If we look at keeping the feet on, well, most of the time, but still also a lot of time feet off. Especially the inside corner, I think there was quite some feet going off, at least the inside foot. Also, when I looked at the form, quite a number of the outside corners were not in one movement. They were like I was sort of chopping the bike around. Speed-wise, it looked like the outside was more fluent, at least. On the inside, I was sort of, yeah, I don't know. I think I braked harder, and then I had quite a number of times problems with balance, so that's why the feet came out. And then speeding up, because it's just in front of the ramp, I do not dare to open it up very far. So, but let's have a look at the times. So the left hand side in this table, the inside corner, let's say I crossed through one of the times, because that I was just stuck behind a rider, so that's why that time is much more. You could say the average time 6.8 seconds, right? From somewhere, let's say, going up the hill and then driving out of the frame. If we do the outside corner, and I also striped out a 1 because the timing in the beginning of the video was not okay. But what you see then on average is 7.4 seconds. So that means the outside corner seems 0.6 seconds slower. So as what we always know, the inside corner is shorter. So must be faster, right? That is how you think of this. And if you think about the error that I make, of course, because I do make an error with measuring this in the videos, I think it is maybe 1 or 2 frames. But since I make an average of several times here, you can say that the error is going a little bit down. So maybe there's 1 frame, and for your knowledge, 1 frame is 1/30th. Yeah, that is 0.03 seconds. So you could really say that the outside corner is really slower here. Let's say around 0.6 seconds. I was thinking, is this really a good way to compare it? So starting from the corner and exit there from the frame. I was thinking, if I would compare an inside corner with an outside corner, and let's synchronize myself here on this exit bump, because as I told you, if I take the inside corner, I do not dare to gas it so much compared to if I take the outside corner, because I'm so close to the jump, I'm afraid of that the rear side would kick out. So let's have a look if we sync the video of the fastest inside corner with the fastest outside corner, and then see what happens after the jump. And then think about these numbers again. So let's have a look to the next slide. So the top one, inside corner, bottom one, outside corner. And let's compare the speed, on the exit over that jump. So I synchronize it on that jump. So if you synchronize it on the jump, then you can easily see that if I take the outside corner, I'm accelerating much faster onto the straightaway that is after that jump. So the thing that I lost in the outside corner, I will certainly gain in the straightaway behind, I think. But I don't know if that's really true. That got me thinking, maybe we should combine some footage, not only in a corner, one corner, but if I do multiple corners, in this case 13, 14 and 15, and there are some straightaways in between, and then just see what happens if I take more inside corners compared to if I take more outside corners. I do not have video from the sides for this, because it's 3 corners, so I only have the normal helm view, so to say. And let's first have a look at these corner 13, 14 and 15. And just linear, I had made 2 sessions I used for this, because in session 1 I'm driving, let's say maybe the first time or the second session, I do not know exactly. I think it's the first session of that day, and typically on the first session I will take the outside corners, and I'm going to compare that with the second session where I practice doing inside corners. So let's have a look how that looks like, the 2 sessions. Well, just 1 times the same part, so to say. sort of half, completely outside. Then to session 2, I go for the insides. Yeah. So you see that in session 2, it's not only short, but there is a difference between session 1 and session 2. So if we then look at some laps and times, now in session 1 it was 6 laps, and if we average those 6 laps, it's not every time the same way how I take the corners, but it is mostly more outside corners. That it came up to 26 seconds and 16ths of a second. And if I did the same thing for session 2, where I do more the inside corners, it's much more laps, it's 18 laps, and then it is 26 and then 8 of a second. So you could say that in this situation, that in my first session, which is my warm-up session, this section I drove 0.72 seconds faster. Now I also understand that I make a mistake here with my measurements, because for instance you see below the fastest lap. So I have the fastest lap for session 1 is 25.9, and the fastest lap for session 2 is 25.87. Now, so it seems that with the inside corner I did the fastest lap, but on average it is higher. And I think if I look at the footage, when I looked at all the laps, I did not show you all the laps, but I think that was not due to that was a person in my way that I went slower or something. So you could say on average, if I'm doing these inside corners, at these corners at this track, because I've driven that so many times on the outside, I think I'm on the outside on average I am faster. At that number here, 0.7 is true. So like in the previous video that I said, okay, so if I time only on a short part of the track the inside corner is faster, but you also need to accelerate and you need to brake for that inside corner. That is more effort, I would say, than if you would take the outside corner. Because in the outside corner the braking is not so heavy, also the acceleration you can do that a little bit more smooth. So it costs less energy to ride the outside corner. And since I practice it more, you can see if you take a longer part of the track where I do more outside corners compared to more inside corners, then I am still a little bit faster on the outside corner. Now, if you're doing a race and a person is in front of you and he's doing the outside corners, you have to go to the inside corner. And you can also, let's say, turn the conclusion around, is that because my fastest lap was, let's say, on the inside corner, so I think if I practice more the inside corner, then I can get that average down. I think it's more that I'm not confident enough to really do fast inside corners. That makes it that I'm still slower on my inside corners. What I also was interested about is just have a look at the videos and compare in the video the inside versus the outside corner. And I took, let's say, a lap that is very close in time to the average value of session 1, and a lap of session 2, which is also very close to the average time that I have here in the table. So let's have a look here. When I was laying down these video next to each other, then I also found out that yeah, in that session 2 video, it was not aligned with my session 1 video, and I had to really shift it 3 frames. And if I think about that, so for, let's say, the times that I got from this yeah, whole piece of track of 26 point something seconds, yeah, that we have, I really do mistakes of 0.1 second. Yeah, you have to realize that. What I did was the left audio will be session 1, and session 1 is the more outside turn, so to say, and the audio on right will be the one for session 2. And also you can, if you listen with a headphone, maybe you can really hear that with session 1, where I do more the outside corners, that my gas goes on a little bit longer compared to if I do the inside corner. Yeah, and also starting up, I think, is also different. But yeah, have a listen with a headphone, you will hear it. Now, and what you also see at the end, that is the difference between the outside and inside corner. That is that 0.7 seconds that we saw before in the table. So the difference between going outside versus inside, and that is, yeah, on the track, as you see, yeah, that time for going up the hill, yeah, 0.7 seconds. Oh, okay, good, nice analysis. Okay, let's go to yet another corner. Let's take a sip. And just continue. Corner 18. Yeah, somewhere further on in the track. I think this corner we have seen before. Yeah. Okay, so this corner I typically take always on the inside. There is also an outside way, but you really need to drive a lot faster to do, let's say, to do it at the same speed. I know several years ago I did do that because I was not good at making a short turn, but I started practicing doing the inside more and more, and at some point I realized I'm so much faster doing the inside corner. So I would say 99.9% of the time I will take always the inside corner here. And then still there's a lot of variations of doing inside here. You will see that. What you also see is that after this corner you have to accelerate hard, because after that we get a nice table jump, and you want to jump that completely, of course, right? Okay, what did I had in mind when creating the videos? Yeah, as I said, 224 was for keeping both feet on, so that is one of the things. And the other thing for me always is posture. So the thing is, first, where am I going to sit down? Now I want it to be over the 50% spot. Yeah, if this is the whole corner, 50% is somewhere there in the middle. And I also wanted to make sure that I came out of the corner with a straight back. In the first video shots, impossible to see, but I have the tendency to do that when I accelerate out of a corner. Yeah, it's not good. It's better if you look to the pro riders, they always sit nice and proper. So that was my main practice. Of course, get the speed as high as possible, but since we're practicing, I don't know if that was the maximum speed. It was the max speed, including, let's say, the trying. Okay, let's have a look at the first camera precision that I did on 10 November. Now, let's have a look how that looks. Now, I did not time these corners. I did not find it so interesting to do because I'm clearly practicing doing these things. What I said, what I told you before, I think not one time that I said before the 50%, so that was good. I think also mostly I kept my feet on, so that was also good. What I want to zoom into a little bit with you guys is the exit line here. So what I did was I took an exit line which is, let's say, better, and an exit line which is really worse. Because on the exit of this turn, especially at the end of the day, yeah, a lot of people are accelerating from that corner. So what you get is these acceleration bumps. Now, to be honest, if you look at a rider driving over it, it looks cool, right? Because he has to sort of loft the bike. But is it really the fastest way of doing that? Let's have a look and look at the different exit lines. Yeah, so of course this was at a 50% speed, so that's why it was a little bit bumpy, the image. But if you see how much time, and that is the timer on top, is between, let's say, the better exit and the worst exit, where I had to go over the bumps, yeah, that's 15 seconds. 15 seconds? 15 frames! 15 frames of 30 frames per second is half a second. And this is 15 frames of half speed. So it means a quarter of a second. Okay, a quarter of a second for this thing. You see here a very important aspect, I think, which is gaining much more time. If your exit line is going to a less bumpy spot on the track, yeah, you can accelerate much easier, and it means you just gain there in this spot, on this part, a quarter of a second. Another date, same corner, a different angle of the camera. So that was on 16 November. Was that a different date? Let's go back. Yeah, that was a different date, sorry. Okay. Yeah, I think same thing. Let's go over the 50% with sitting, keeping the feet on, and straight back. Now, I don't know. Let's have a look how that looks. for me it's clear again. If I focus on keeping the feet on, both feet on in the corner, it is possible, but as soon as a person is close to me, the feet goes off again. Also, you saw that maybe in the videos that I also went to the more inside corner, really close to the inside, and then again immediately the feet goes off. But I also know for myself, yeah, if I do this, I also sort of give in into the fact that I'm putting my feet out, but the person is in front of me, is making the corner, and of course we go in the same angle. And what I want to do is I want to cut under that person so I can pass him on the left hand side, let's say on the straight, going towards the jump. That's not always possible because that person sometimes also goes back to the left further on in the track. But I know to really then cut that corner, I always stick out my leg. Yeah, I'm still not confident in doing that just with two legs on. Yeah, so I think that is for me, yeah, a thing. Yeah, which was fastest, I do not know. I think I did not really time it. What I did have a look at is the exit, how I looked when I accelerate out of that corner. So that is a little bit in the next thing. What I did was I took stills for all the exits and then have a look at those stills. Yeah, the thing what we should look at is what am I doing with my elbow? We already see it in this particular picture here on the left. Yeah, since the gas handle is here, I tend to go down with the elbow, which in fact is not good. In fact, you should really grip far on your grips, and if you sit down, you sort of take the gas already with you, and that the elbow stays up. Surely I do not have this covered yet, so I have a lot of elbows on the right down. What I'm also always curious about is where is my bottom touching the bike. And I'm also always a little bit in struggle here, because if we sit down in the corner, you have to be more to the front, so to be able to be in the middle of, let's say, of the motorcycle, so that you have pressure on the front and rear tire. But on this spot already, when I'm exiting, in fact, you have to accelerate hard here because I'm going to make the jump. And you want to go more to the rear there, so that you can get more pressure on the rear wheel. And especially on this exit, there is a sort of, let's say, hole coming because everybody's on the same spot giving it gas. And I know for myself what happens is I sit down, mostly that I'm more to the front there in that thing, and then I start, if I go out of the bump, I start pushing with my legs more, and I also push my butt more to the rear often. It's maybe only a few centimeters, but that makes it that you can get more pressure on the rear tire so that you can accelerate well up to the jump. Yeah, let's have a look. I just put all the stills behind each other. Now, I think it's pretty similar, although in some of them, and you see also in this one, I'm really leaning forward. I'm sitting forward like this, but yeah, if you go forward and if I keep my elbows here, then yeah, you are cramping it even more. So you're holding on with your life almost. So I always try to think, okay, push, push, push with the legs, because else you're completely hanging on your arms here, and then yeah, if you do this in every corner, then yeah, you get the arm pump, and that doesn't work. What I do see in different stills is that in some I'm more straight, and in some I'm still really doing this. And I can also just remember, and also this weekend when I drove, I was thinking to myself, oh yeah, make myself straight, make myself straight. I have to keep on reminding myself to keep myself, or at least my back, straight, so that you can really also push with your bump into the saddle, and then you can really hold on, so to say. Else, you're holding on with your arms only, and yeah, that will give you a lot of arm pump only. Yeah. Okay. Let's have a look at another corner. How many corners do we have? Corner 19. Now, corner 19 is after the, I would say, the longest straightaway with two tabletops on my track. So let's have a look how that looks like. So we first get a tabletop. And we land. Fast riders. Clearly that corner you can also do on the inside. You saw that person coming from the inside. I think I did not do an inside corner in this footage. Although by now I did practice a few times more doing the inside corner. So I'm getting a little bit better in that. Not good yet. So most of the time is still, let's say, the outside corner for me. And I shared a video about this corner already before, so it should be a familiar corner. This case, again, keep both feet on, and if I decide not to keep the feet on, okay, I'm allowed to stick out my leg, but I have to make sure that it is high. In this corner, I have the tendency to sit down earlier. So for myself, I said, okay, let's not sit before, let's say, a quarter of the turn. Yeah, so if this is the whole turn, a quarter is somewhere here, right? And again, try to keep the back straight. And of course, maximize the speed. That's what we're working on. Now, let's have a look. Shot on 20 November. Let's have a look. One. Saw that last one, chef. He almost hit you. Okay, I also put some extra lines on the video to at least show you where, let's say, the 50% is and where the 25% is, sort of. So you could also see a little bit where if I sat down at that 25% mark or past that 25% mark. If I look at the videos myself, I think only in that session 1, somewhere in lap 2, I sat down at or before that 25% mark. So, okay, so I got that dialed in. And yeah, you saw that my feet was coming off, especially in session 1 completely, because I was not focusing on that. At that moment, I was just doing my warm-up rounds. So you see that in my warm-up rounds, I do not focus on keeping 2 feet on. It was only after session 2 I started thinking, okay, what am I going to focus on? Okay, keeping 2 feet on, and if my feet goes off, keep it high. Was that always the case? Now the last round not, but I was getting tired. You saw that. I'm just going, ooh, like a sack of potatoes, you could say. I don't know if you saw that, but I also put a line in this direction over the track. That was a yellow line, and I used that as starting and ending point to see, okay, how fast is this corner going. So I made a huge table here, and what I did was I just combined on the top, let's say, the corners that I put my leg out. Yeah, so mostly of session 1. And then I calculated the average time, so that is 4.2.1. And then I also calculate the average time when I did not put my feet out, so that's 4.3.8. Yeah, so if I'm not putting my feet out and I only look to where the line was in this video, and maybe it's half a frame plus or minus, or 1 frame plus or minus, although it's all average here, so you could really say the difference is there. So it is almost 0.2 seconds slower for me if I keep both feet on. So if I would be doing a race here, maybe it's smarter for me to stick out my leg because I'm 0.2 seconds faster. I have to say also in session 1, that is where I start sitting down before the 25%. So if you look in overall to the form, most of the time if I keep both feet on, the overall form is better. However, if I do it myself, so I have to be honest with that, it really feels slower. But in reality, if you look to the numbers here, well, it's not a lot. Yeah? Sticking the feet out or keeping both feet on, the difference is really very little. Yeah, for me. And if you practice more, yeah, then it will become the same or maybe even faster. That I do not know. I don't know, AJ, if you ever tried that yourself, but I did not. Okay, let's round up the story. Nice that you have been looking to the video again. Yeah, it was just looking at corners. Could I keep my feet on? Do I sit down on the right spot? What is the posture? What is faster, inside, outside corner? Well, you see, for me, I still have to work a lot on the inside corner because my outside corner is still faster. And I really believe that if you can ride an inside corner correctly, it will always be faster than the outside corner. I do not have the skill yet. Yeah? Maybe next year or the year after that. We will see. Yeah? Thank you.